guys, welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make Kotopoulo Stifado. Kotopoulo Stifado really translates to a chicken and shallot stew. It's rich, it's hearty, it's comforting, and it's delicious. So this is my quicker version of the classic Stifado. The classic Stifado, which I do have a video of, and I'll link it up in the card section, is usually made with lamb or beef and takes about 2 hours to make. This version is ready in under an hour, so you definitely cannot beat that. Perfect for a busy weeknight, but also elegant enough for a nice dinner party. Let's go over the ingredients so we can start. So in my blender here, I have some canned tomatoes that I've pureed. I have some olive oil. We're going to use a little pinch of sugar, but you could also use honey, salt, garlic cloves, 2 bay leaves, some crushed red pepper flakes, which are optional, some dried oregano, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, some black pepper, fresh parsley. I have 1 chicken that's cut up into big pieces. We're going to need a little bit of tomato paste, and we're going to need some shallots that have been peeled. So this recipe begins by cooking the shallots first. Now you can cook the shallots by roasting them in the oven, which is my favorite way to do it, or you can use the same pot that you're going to make the stew. Now if you're going to use the pot, then it's going to become a 1-pot dish because you're not going to have to wash anything else. So if that's what you care about more than time, then go ahead and do this in the pot. You would put a little bit of olive oil in the pot, maybe like 1/4 cup or so, and cook the shallots probably in 2 batches. It depends what size pot you're using, until they're nice and soft. That can take about 15 or 20 minutes or even longer. You just want to cook them till they're caramelized and nice and soft, but that is going to cost you time. So it's going to take about 20 minutes to do this step. Now what I like to do is preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, put them in an oven-proof dish or in a baking tray, drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, season them with a little bit of salt. You pop them in the oven and you cook them until they're nice and caramelized and tender. That's going to take about 20 or 25 minutes. It all depends on your oven. But while you're doing that, you could be browning your chicken and getting your stew ready, which is what we're going to do. And I'm going to put them in the oven to roast until they're beautifully caramelized. I'll show you what they look like as soon as they're done. So while the onions are roasting, we're going to get started with making our stews. So I have a chicken that's cut up into big pieces. Now anything between 4.5 to 5 pounds will do for this recipe. I'm using a whole chicken that's cut up, but you can definitely use chicken thighs that have the bone in. Those are going to be nice and juicy and delicious. What we're going to do is we're going to season these with some salt and pepper on both sides. Then I have a Dutch oven heating over medium-high heat. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there, about 1/4 cup, and I'm going to brown this chicken in 2 batches. Now it depends on the size of your pot, how you're going to do this. You might need to do it in 2 batches or maybe even 3, but cook the chicken about 6 minutes on each side or until it's nice and brown all around. Take it out and set it back on the plate or the tray. You don't have to worry about cross-contamination because we're going to continue to cook the chicken until it's fully cooked in the stew. Then go ahead and add the grated garlic into the pot and quickly add the tomato paste and just give it a quick mix. The pot is going to be super hot, so you don't want the garlic to hang out in there too long because it's finely grated and it can burn. So then go ahead and quickly add the crushed tomatoes. Give everything a nice mix so it comes together. Now it's time to season the sauce. So I like to season it with some dried oregano. I like to add the oregano at the beginning of the cooking process so it can infuse into the sauce and it can taste delicious. Then go ahead and add the 2 bay leaves, a little bit of salt, pepper, crushed red pepper flakes for heat, and then we're going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar just for that depth of flavor. It's not going to be vinegary at all, but it is going to make this stew super rich. And then we're going to add a little pinch of sugar to kind of cut down and balance the acidity. You could substitute honey for the sugar if you like. Completely up to you. Give everything a nice mix and add the chicken back in. Once the chicken is added, season with just a little bit more salt. Bring the whole mixture to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, reduce the heat to a medium and cover the pot with a lid. Let it simmer on medium for about 30 to 35 minutes. After about 35 minutes, the chicken should be fully cooked. At this point, you just want to go ahead and add the roasted shallots. Look at how beautiful they are. They should be beautiful and soft. And you just want to be really gentle with them. You don't want to mix or stir too much so that way they don't fall apart in there. Just let them warm through for a few minutes and then they're going to infuse the sauce. Then go ahead and finally chop some fresh parsley. And then go ahead and sprinkle them into the stew. And just like that, dinner is served. So the shallots took about 25 minutes in the oven to roast completely. It all depends on the size actually. So if they're really big, they're going to take longer. If they're smaller, they're obviously going to cook much quicker, but keep an eye on them and you'll know that they're ready once they're beautifully golden all around and they're nice and soft and tender. The whole meal comes together in under an hour, which is great because this is an elegant meal. It's delicious and it is time to dig into this. But before I do, I'll tell you that the best thing to serve this with is either some nice toasted bread, or you can boil some pasta, whatever your favorite pasta is, or even rice. Cook some rice and serve this on top. It is going to be absolutely great. Time to take a bite. The onion just melts. It's so nice and sweet. It's an onion, but it's really a shallot, which is it's much milder than a regular onion. So good. The chicken is perfectly cooked. That sauce is just everything. It's so warm and comforting and delicious. You can definitely add some cinnamon to the stew while you're cooking it. In the beginning, at the time that you would add the oregano, you can go ahead and add a little bit of cinnamon. I think you guys are gonna love it. Go on over to the website, dimitrasdishes.com, to print this recipe. If you wanna learn how to make the beef version of Stifado, you can click on one of these annotations on the side and I'll see you right there. Thank you guys for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.